Good morning and welcome to the program Perspectives, stretching on Invicta 98.9. And this morning we'll be looking at an issue that has come out in the national space, and those talking about the nation Nigeria and the trying times that we are going through. And one of the issues coming out now is about how we mudsling and throw mud at each other in the life of this nation, and talking about how far we've come with us as a people. Are we, at this moment, can we talk about the unifying force in Nigeria? Can we talk about the people that have agreed to come together and live together for the progress of the nation? And that's talking about what has come out in the national space. Now, that's about hate speech. We talk to each other with all sorts of venom this time. We hate each other with how we come with. The regions are at each other's truth. And of course, what is coming out does not show people that are ready to live together. And so the hate speech and what it has come out with, some people would argue that the hate speech is about denying people their fundamental human rights. Some people would say it's a way of gagging the people. But can the people be gagged in a democracy? Do we have freedom of speech? And can we talk to authority? Can we talk to governance in this present dispensation? All of these is what we'll be looking at. And don't forget that just recently, from 500,000 now, we have the hate speech to come with 5 million naira. Can we be talking about people that are free to talk about issues of the country and to talk about things that are not just going right with the country? This morning on the program, I have Barrister Yakubu El-Zubai. He's a public analyst and commentator on national and international matters. My guest this morning, my phone on the program, Barrister El-Zubai. Good morning, and glad to have you here with us.
It's a great pleasure, sir. Good morning.
Yes. The recent thing that just came out, and Nigerians still talking about it, that are we getting, in fact, some people are saying that, where are we moving to? Are we moving to sort of a fascist kind of, regime, or it's a situation where people cannot be free to express themselves? And when they do want to express themselves, how do we want them to express themselves? I'm talking about Nigeria, from how we came together to become, one people and one nation. Our differences and, of course, the unholy alliances that some people have talked about. But here we are, still running it 50 years on, 60 years on. And today, again, we're talking about gagging the people. Is that what this hate speech fine is all about? Your view, on what the hate speech is all about.
Thank you, sir. Good morning again. What the hate speech and its basis emanated from the attitude of people who make pronouncements or who make defamatory statements about persons, about tribes, about religions, or about regions. In India, for example, there is the hate speech where if you make any derogatory statement about the Hindu and what they worship, not now, long ago, you will face this problem. This thing has not come to Africa until recently, when in Rwanda, some people sang against the activities of the Hutu, they being of Tutsi extraction. They sang and was aired in the newspaper. That caused a serious genocide in Rwanda, which lasted for about 3 years, and which caused the death of about nearly 3 million people, and which also caused a humanitarian crisis in the entire Southern African region from Rwanda, which is even a small country. Now in Africa, hate statements have been there long before the hate speech was established as a law or as a custom in various countries. In Nigeria, the hate speech has always been there, but it has never been as pronounced as now. Before the Biafran genocide, what happened was that there was the Araba movement in northern Nigeria, and then the Biafra, and each side was abusing either the tribe or the religion of the other side. The Western region later became involved, and Nigeria was in skirmishes. Military halted that thing because they suspended the constitution of 1966, but the hate speech led to a Nigerian civil war. Now today, we are again finding ourselves where we were in 1963. Tribes that have lived together in Nigeria are fighting each other now. People that have professed religions and were living together as brothers and sisters are now at each other's neck. People who call themselves northerners do not want to cohabit with southerners. People whose tribes are in the south hate people whose tribes are in the north, although Nigeria is a federal republic. And sometimes we cause defamatory statements against each other, either because we feel that those persons are not likable to us, or we feel that they belong to certain secret organizations and we abuse them based on that basis. The Constitution of Nigeria is very clear. The whole of chapter 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria guarantees fundamental freedom to every citizen of Nigeria, and indeed to any person who is on the Nigerian soil. Once you are living on the Nigerian soil, you have the right to life, you have the right to personal liberty, you have the right to associate, you have the right of free speech. The Constitution, while guaranteeing this right, also created the sense, that is the ceiling, the level, the extent to which you can make a statement that is adjudged to be derogatory against somebody. For example, if I call a lady that I see is dressed undecently and I call her a prostitute, I will be charged with defamation. If I write a statement or an article about somebody whom I personally adjudge to be a thief, and the court had not pronounced him so, I may be cited for libel. If I make a statement against a certain religion because of their beliefs and because I feel that God is only for me, I may be cited for hate speech. Similarly, if I show tribal or ethnic supremacy against any tribe in Nigeria which I adjudge I am superior to, I may be charged for hate speech. So the Constitution guarantees these rights, but has placed a limit as to which a person or a citizen can go to the extent of making pronouncements against a person, against a tribe, against a religion, or against a people. And that is why Nigeria is divided today. Nigeria is divided not as a result of this hate speech, but the hate speech itself emanated from the position that the ruling elites have taken. The ruling elites in Nigeria have always been divisive, have always been visionless, have always been inept, such that if they come to talk about issues, they only look at those issues in order to conceal their incompetence, either in ethnicity or in tribal sentiments or in sectional divisions or in religious diversities. They will not talk about Nigeria. They will not talk about their competence. They will not talk about what they intend to do as individuals to the citizens that they want them to vote for them. They will just bring divisive tendencies, such that these divisive tendencies will enter or be conceived in the minds of the poor people or the electorates. And the electorates cannot understand how they are being manipulated. That is why today you see that we are very divisive. Indeed, Nigeria is more divided today than even in 1968 when the Biafra started. Because you can see even yesterday in Kaduna State, a part of our state was invaded by a certain people. And this, you cannot rule out either religious, tribal, or genocidal tendencies. These are issues that ought not to occur, especially in a Nigeria of today.
Okay,
so,
Barrister, following you, I also like to take you back to when it all started, when the Nigerian project, started. For some analysts at that time, and even for people that took it, further, that the coming together of Nigeria as a nation was an unholy alliance, and the differences and the cultures of the people did not make it suitable for them to come together. But again, here we are, together. And of course, again, want to put it across to you. You started along that line. What the politicians have done to us. Again, people would say that those that are feeling the embers of religion and tribe and divides of this country would be on the people that have been saddled to represent us as a people. They have not done well. And today we have the hate speech from 500,000 now moved to 5 million naira. Again, by a ruling party that we see. Where is this all taking us to when we have a situation like this?
Let me make a little point about the history, sir. Nigeria was amalgamated based on the amalgamation of the British colonialism in India,
yes,
and in Sudan. Lord Lugard had been one of the prime factors in the amalgamation of the Kashmir, the Pakistani and the Indian territories. These are territories that involve a lot of people who are diverse in their tribes, in their religions, and in their orientations. But they were able to amalgamate India. Although in 1946, Pakistan was able to secede from India. But they saw that amalgamation as a great success. First, because of the economy of a larger colony, and the fact that there are cheap labor from India, and then the resources of India could be shipped easily to England. Now, when they moved to Sudan, they saw that Sudan had a similarity with India, a country with diverse peoples, diverse tribes, and diverse religions. And this country also has the oil resources. So they amalgamated Sudan in the same way that they amalgamated India. So when they came to Nigeria, they saw that what they did in Sudan and India will be good for Nigeria, not good for the people of Nigeria, but for the good of the British colonialism. And so, in spite of our diversity, in spite of the differences in our religion, although at the time of colonial rule, the diversity in religion was not clear, because majority of our people were of the traditional faith all over the country, except a few around Calabar and in the Sokoto Caliphate who profess Islam and Christianity respectively. Now, when the Europeans saw the economic advantage of Nigeria, and then the larger group of people who could be useful to the British economy, they now decided to replicate what they did in India and what they did in Sudan. But at that time, they did not call for a referendum to ask the people whether they wanted an amalgamation or not. Because when the Northern Protectorate and the Southern Protectorate were brought together, nobody was asked except a few people. Those who attended the conference in London and who signed that amalgamation in Zungeru involved the Obong of Calabar, which people did not know. Most of our people think that the Europeans just sat on their own and amalgamated the country. It was not like that. No, the Obong of Calabar was one of the prime people that sat with the Europeans at the amalgamation. Then there was the Degri of Badagry. The Degri of Badagry was a very high chief at the time of colonialism. Now the Oba of Lagos is higher than him. But at that time, the Degri of Badagry was also present at the amalgamation. The Sultan of Sokoto was also present at that amalgamation. Then the chief of the Kwararrafa people, who is now the Akuuka of Wukari, he was also present at the amalgamation. Then a few elites from those who were fighting for the nationalism of the country. These people included the Right Honorable Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, they included the Right Honorable Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, they included J.P. Clark. These people were brought together with these traditional leaders. Although the traditional leaders only represent a very little section of the people, and these elites, they only represent a very few fraction of the people, but the colonialists sat down with them and agreed to the amalgamation of Nigeria as a country. The document was brought to Zungeru by Lord Lugard. But the Nigerian government, after independence, was unable to keep this document. That is why today you cannot even trace the document of amalgamation, which Her Majesty, the Queen of England, later signed and sanctioned. So the amalgamation came as a result of the idea of these elites in collaboration with the European powers to amalgamate and bring the people of Nigeria together, not because of the interest of Nigeria, but because of the interest and economic advantage of the British colonialism. When we became amalgamated, naturally, because we are different people, and it was difficult at that time to travel into the forest from the north, and it was also difficult for the forest people of the south to travel to the hinterland. But after amalgamation, we saw the Yoruba people of Ogbomoso especially establishing businesses in Kano and even in Sokoto. Then the Igbo people before the war had already established themselves also, and the Hausa people who were merchants in Kola North had also made their inroads into the south. So Nigeria was becoming a country that was united even before independence. But the formation of political parties were done along party lines, were done along tribal lines. The Omo Egbe Odudua was later to metamorphose into Action Group. The Jam'iyyar Matan Arewa was later to metamorphose into NPC. We have the UMBC. We have the people of Cameroon, who together with the Igbos formed the NCNC, which later became a national party. So the orientation at the beginning, even of the formation of political parties, were done based on either regional or tribal lines. So that set the division for Nigeria. But the nationalists and leaders of the First Republic were able to manage their diversity because they had large hearts, and they were tolerant, and they were accommodating, and they had respect for each other. The intervention of the military polarized Nigeria based on the appointments. People would appoint people from their regions or from their religion, and people from other regions or religion will look at it from the prism of either tribalism or ethnicity. When political parties were formed in the Second Republic, those politicians of the Second Republic began to canvass for votes. When they go to their region, they talk about their region and religion. When they come to the center or places that are not their own, they talk about Nigeria. All of them were complicit in these activities. These activities are worse today, such that politicians today, even with the media, will go on their podium and talk about either their religion or about their region or about their ethnicity or about where they come from. So these things have been on for a very long time. But the National Assembly saw that the drift in tribal inclination, in tribal alienation, in the divisive tendencies of Nigeria, and how Nigeria has become unstable in recent years based on rumors, based on hate speech, and based on audiovisual pictures that are posted on social media, most of which are not true. For example, sir, people have posted the pictures of the Mandinka people who are rearers like the Fulani, either in Mali or Somali. These people will carry guns and AK-47 while rearing their cattle. People have posted these pictures as the Nigerian Fulani who are rearing cattle either in Makodi or in Obudu. And it was said that these Fulani, as they rear their cattle, are also carrying AK-44. Now, people have posted pictures of Muslims, of alleged Muslims who were massacred either in Rwanda or in some other places like Uganda, and they have posted these pictures as the pictures of Muslims who were massacred either in Jos or in Taraba, and these things have been posted. People have made speeches that are religiously unconsumable. People have made all sort of derogatory statements about certain ethnic groups in Nigeria, which I don't need to repeat, because repeating it will mean that I may have accepted some of these derogatory remarks, which are not so, sir. So it is because of that, and because this hate speech has caused so much pain to the Nigerian people, and the constitution has placed a ceiling as to how much you can make such a speech. That is why I think the National Assembly has made this move.
Okay. All right.
Because people, not because Nigerian people, if they are caught in this web, can be able to pay this sum. Because, for example, for me, if I make such a derogatory statement, I will be unable to pay 5 million, sir. I must only go to prison. These things are made as deterrent so that people can restrain themselves from making this kind of statements. I am very sure that is the thinking of members of the National Assembly when they are reviewing these laws.
Okay, Barrister. At this point, we would like to go for a commercial break. Be back with you shortly.
We should go back after this commercial break.
It's the finest. Victor 98.9 from Kaduna, Nigeria. Stay tuned.
What kind of talk is this anyway?
Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Here's the program Perspectives this morning, and it's coming to you on Victor 98.9. And this morning, we're looking at the hate speech. The fine on it from 500,000 has been moved up to 5 million naira now. And of course, we're going back to it, that what, would be the hate speech that we have, and how is that determined, and who determines what is hate speech? Barrister, I'd like to come to you with that. How is it determined that this is hate speech? And again, I'd like to take you back too about us as a people, Nigerian as a people. We've had this way of throwing, jokes at each other, jokes that can be in any way, in some way, seen as hate speech too. But this is what keeps us together as a people. The people would throw, some very funny jokes that would amount to saying ridiculous to the Zaria man. The Oyo man would throw its own on the, Ijebu man, and of course from the east, the Anambra would do that with their other fellow human beings from Imo. And all of that has kept us as a people, and these are jokes that comes to us because of how long we've been together. Again, talking about the hate speech, who determines when this is hate speech, and for whose purpose? Are we saying this may just not be okay with us?
Those banters you mentioned are different from hate speech. Those banters are ancestry, because they have historical origins.
And they keep us together.
Yes, they have historical origins in our existence as a people. This shows that we have been there for a very long time together, and our history are intertwined. Such histories are brought into banters so that we can remain as brothers. That is why the Katsina person, if he meets a Nupe or a Gobir or a Hadejia man, and they began to joke, you see that they will at the end laugh, and they will just pat their backs, and it will remind them of the history of their forefathers. The same thing with every other tribe in Nigeria. If you go to Plateau State, we have the Angas people. If the Angas people join the same vehicle with the Burma, and you listen to them throwing banters, sometimes you will even think that these people meant to fight each other, but in the end you will see them laughing, because these are banters that have been there ancestrally, and they have lasted for as long as these people were together. But these are different from the hate speech that we are talking about today. In those banters, a Katsina man cannot call a Hadejia man stupid. A Hadejia man cannot call a Kanuri man stupid. If a Fulani meets a Kanuri, he cannot call him you are stupid. If an Angas man meets a Burma person, he cannot say you are stupid. If an Alaje man meets a Yoruba of the Akure extract, he cannot call him stupid. Similarly, if the Ibira meets the people of Afemai, they cannot call them stupid. There will be a certain joke that is ancestral and historical in our cultures that will bind us together. When you call somebody stupid, What you are saying is that he is not a good person, and these are not found in our history, they are not found in our ancestry, and they are not part of our culture, and they do not exhibit that we should be together. So banters are different from hate speeches. Today or in the past, the Christians and the Muslims, let me cite the example of northern Nigeria. The Christians and the Muslims of northern Nigeria were living together, and even today what the Yoruba are doing now makes it a child's play over the unity exhibited by the northern and Christian Muslims. The northern and Christian Muslims had no differences between them, even if they didn't belong to the same family. In fact, I am aware as a person, not because I was told, but I saw the evidence of historical realities of how our people existed together, how we celebrated Christmas with our Christian brothers and sisters, and how we slept in their houses, and how they came and celebrated Salah with us. In fact, the Muslim celebration of Chikachiki, Maulidi were done together by the Christians and the Muslims of northern Nigeria. But you see, the advent of sectarian differences in our religions brought hate speech. I remember that some ulama of the Muslim extraction will tell us in the early 1980s that we shouldn't eat meat slaughtered by the Christians. We could not ask them because we didn't have enough knowledge, but the Quran says that you can eat from the people of the book, and there is no more superior book than the Quran in Islam. But you see, they help in dividing us first because we didn't have knowledge of the Quran and we couldn't question the ulama. The Christian clergy took up that gauntlet and said that, okay, these people are saying if we give them food, they should throw it away in the toilet. Why should we even give them food? And so the mutual kinship that was existing between the Christians and the Muslims, especially in northern Nigeria, was broken, not by anybody, but by the clergy of the Muslim and the Christian faiths. The people were innocent, the people didn't participate, the people were just onlookers, but the people became the actual victims of these divisions. And so it became that northern Nigeria became a battlefield of religious and ethnic sectarian controversies and violence, such that today our people cannot live together again. Our people, by mere identifying your religion and tribe, will kill you from anywhere you are. It is very, very unfortunate. I think the Yoruba are still living the ages and the cultures and the ancestry of our forefathers, and all sections of the country needs to copy from the Yoruba people today. I will implore our people to look at our history critically and understand that whether you fight for Christianity or Islam, God will only look at your mind, and you cannot fight on behalf of God, because God is the one that instituted these religions, and he instituted it for reasons he knows, and he only asks us as adherents to be loyal to him, to be obedient to him, and to be fearful of him. Once you confess or profess to your religion, you should take to those tenets of the religion and practice it faithfully. If you belong to a tribe, you can never change your tribe. If your forefather, great-great-grandfather was a Kataf man, you cannot now become a Baju. If your great-great-great-grandfather was a Fulbe, you cannot now become a Hausa man. Even the current acronym Hausa Fulani is offensive to me, because you are either a Hausa man or a Fulani. You cannot be a Hausa Fulani. In Africa, we go after our fathers. If you were born initially as a thief man, you cannot become an Agatu. Today in Ondo State, there are the Alaje people who are minority. They do not claim to be Yoruba people. If you go to Wari, the Ishekiri who own the town are in minority. They have never claimed to be Ijaw people. So we should be able to respect and tolerate one another. Let's agree that we have our differences, but these differences do not only exist in our tribes and religion. Two people born as identical twins will have their differences. they have their orientation, they have their needs, they have the way they look at issues. What more of people born in different towns, brought up in different backgrounds? How can we behave the same in the same way?
Okay, again.
Our people should look at these issues critically. Let's downplay our differences. Let's tolerate each other. Let's respect each other. Let's accept that we are here to live as one.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Barrister. They still with the hate speech, and of course, what is coming out now? It is in this administration that we're finding the penalty for hate speech, and of course, from 500,000, that's moving up to 5 million now. And some people, some analysts have said that could we just be looking at it on the basis of promises that were made to people, and of course promises that have not been kept? Because more than any other time, again, some people would say this, what is coming out of the Nigerian state today from this administration is not going down well with the people, and so people want to hide under the cover of the hate speech, and of course matters of governance are to be queried more than any other time now. And so could this be the reason why we're having this this hike from 500,000 to 5 million naira from in this administration?
Yes, I agree with that angle totally, because in the history of political parties in Nigeria, there has never been a political party that has succeeded in deceiving Nigerians as the ruling APC.
Would that be a fair statement? Well, that's your opinion anyway. Okay, so we going with that.
In my view, sir, that is the fairest statement I can make.
Okay, your view.
Because this is a political party that came on the basis of solving the security situation in Nigeria. It also promised to revamp and return the economy to the days of our golden forefathers. It also promised that the problem of first insecurity, poverty and economy, and then the problem of endemic corruption, which has eaten deep into the fabric of the polity of governance in Nigeria, will be brought to an end. But you see, 5 years on, these things are still with us, and we are daily witnessing worsening situations.
You didn't start with us today, that is all of this did not start with us today.
I didn't say it started today. The Boko Haram was inherited. But today we have bandits. We have bandits in Plateau State, as I read in the newspaper. People will come into a village without a motive to steal anything, but with a motive just to take out life. And they will open fire on a population without any reason. The newspapers call them bandits. In Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto and parts of Kaduna State, we have the cattle rustlers and cattle headsmen. They have made this region completely unstable. In southern Kaduna, we have the ethnic, tribal and genocidal militias. In Plateau State, the same thing. When you go to Nasarawa, we have the same issues there. In Benue, in Taraba, in Niger, everywhere. This tells you how much the APC has done about the need to curb security in the country. Then look at the economy. People who are able to eat 2 times at that time are unable to eat today, and most of them are beggars on the street. That tells you about their promise of the economy. Then look at the issue of corruption. I don't want to even talk about that because that is even the worst. But I will cite 2 examples for you, sir. Or 3. Take the Niger Delta investigation, the Niger Delta Commission investigation, and what came out of it. As far as we are concerned, and as far as the leaders are concerned, you may never hear anything about the Niger Delta investigation again. Then while the Niger Delta issue was ongoing, refer yourself to the Northeast Development Commission, where the House of Representatives uncovered that those in the affairs of the Northeast Development Commission have taken out for themselves against the IDPs about 100 billion naira. The House of Representatives has started an investigation on that issue, but I am sure it will die like the others. Then take the issues of individuals. There was an ex-governor that was before the Federal High Court in Gombe. Witnesses have testified in his case, but the Attorney General, without any reason clear to Nigerians, entered a nolle prosequi, and today the man is free. That tells you about how they have been able to solve the problem of corruption in Nigeria. And so in order to cover some of these issues, it could serve as a motive that Nigerians should not talk about it. Let us bring a deterrent which will make people to be silenced, although we are in a civil rule. I want to say, sir, that we are not in a democracy. We are in a civil rule. We are in a civil rule because Nigeria is still ruled by a very small clique of family compact elites. These elites are very few. They only have members of their family and friends in juicy places in government, and they are the ones ruling the country. This has been on, but it is worse today. So these people are holding the country to ransom, and the desire to breathe the civil rule space is no longer there because they cover their incompetence by telling the people about their tribal, religious, sectional, and regional differences. That is why, although it is to serve as a deterrent, that is why they have hiked the fine for hate speech.
Okay, Barrister.
Yes, let me make this point, sir.
Okay.
Despite their motive, I will employ Nigerians to restrain themselves from abusing each other. Let's look at the things that unite us more than the things that divide us.
Okay, Barrister, I'll come to the people now. Let's get to the audience, get to hear your thoughts on the hate speech and, of course, the controversies surrounding hate. And numbers to call to be part of this conversation, 081 40,000 989, 081 40,000 989, or 070 87 800 989, 070 87 800 989. Take your calls now. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir, Mr. Tony.
Yes, good morning. Your name and where you're calling?
Good morning to your guest.
Good morning. Yes.
And actually, Barrister, I've done justice to the topic.
Your name, please.
My name, Francis from Urban Radio.
All right, Francis. Okay.
Thank you. Honestly, to be frank with you, there is no justification for this government, this present government in particular.
But Francis, we have a government, we've had governments, and let's yes, okay. Yeah, fair.
Because the reason why I'm saying so is our constitution have given room for everything, and there is no definition of what is hate speech in Nigeria today. And I knew during the campaign before this government came to power, I know so many words and so many things they said that nobody call it hate speech. But now the Nigerian masses are crying hardship and all that, and they are trying to bring this in a different way to shut our mouth. God will not allow this.
Okay, Francis. All right. I got Francis from there. Still with your calls. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Alade.
Your name and where you're calling from?
Chief Amotekun is on the line.
Chief Amotekun.
Yes. Let me start with the hate speech. Mr. Alade, please. People like me, we need to clarify. Then we need this government to interpret this hate speech for us.
Okay.
Then, who told me, if my father called me in the morning, told me that he's going to give us money to eat rice and beans. At the end of the day, we didn't even keep up to take throughout that day. Is it hate speech? Come government now coming to this. It's supposed to be a hate speech. It's an insult to our intelligence. Then, if this government during campaign, you do your campaign, you do protests all over the country, you call Irish like anything they have the capital of in Nigeria has been a defeat program. Because this administration come in the slaughter of gold that they are going to give us security. Today, what will be security? Is it not hate?
Okay.
They're supposed to be paying us now for damaging our country.
Okay.
When we make it before, the economy is nowhere to be found.
Okay. Chief Amotekun, I got you.
Very unfortunate that we are in this mess.
Okay. I got you, Chief Amotekun. All right, we'll take one more call and then we'll come back to our guest. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Charles.
Good morning.
Good morning to us, the best. You're on to Engineer Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
Okay, let me talk. Your guests have spoken very well. Whenever he came on board, he spoke very well as a Nigeria, and I always appreciate every analysis he does. He's not being sentiment, he's not being biased. He just says the way it is. So I give it to him. Now, by all you have said, I want to say something this morning. What will he say about those that were arrested, that came out to protest, that since we are talking about state of the nation, that protest, that stopped the borrowing and fight security, and they were arrested.
Okay.
And we saw that some people protest in Katrina, that the killing is getting out of hand. What will you say about that?
Okay.
And the government in right position to arrest people that protest. Meanwhile, this same administration was they are beneficial of protest in 2013, 2014 by the previous administration, and nobody were arrested. What will you say about that?
Okay.
They continue living lives every day.
All right. Engineer Emmanuel. Okay, thank you. We got you on that. I'll come back to you, Barrister Azubai. You got some of questions from the audience there, from Francis to Chief Amotekun and Engineer Emmanuel.
Yes, sir.
Okay, please react.
I didn't clearly get what Chief Amotekun said.
Okay, Chief Amotekun was talking about what interpretation would we put on the hate speech. Promises were given to the people or were made to the people, and such promises have not been kept, and the people are talking about these promises not being kept. Is this, and can this be hate speech when you're talking about things that you were promised and you were not given, and you're talking about all these things that you have been denied? Can it be seen as hate speech?
Exactly. It's not. You see, what they are trying to do, they are just trying to hide behind the law. Those people that are proponents of the hate speech are just trying to hide behind the law so that they can gag the people and stop them from talking. The people cannot be gagged in Nigeria. You see, those who lived during the Abacha era will remember that Nigerians who are with the people remain resilient and fought for the freedom of Nigeria even in the worst military dictatorship. Today we are in a civil rule. I believe that whatever they intend to do, they cannot achieve it because they themselves, as the last speaker said, Engineer Emmanuel, they are products of this free speech and protest. So what are they trying to achieve now? But because of what they have done, and because of the promises they have made, and which they have failed to keep, and because they don't want people to talk about it, they now want to hide behind the law to restrain people from making these speeches. I believe that the judges, when these matters come before them, will do justice to these cases in favor of the people. Okay. Now about the protest in Katsina and Abuja. Protest is a fundamental right guaranteed to Nigeria under Chapter 4 of the Constitution by the right of association. People can come together and show their grievances, and the Nigerian courts have upheld the right of protest right from the High Court through the Court of Appeal up to the Supreme Court. But the present Nigerian government, copying from those governments before it, do not respect court orders. When court gives an order, most of the state governments, and even in some instances, the federal government does not respect those laws. Otherwise, was it wrong for these people in Katsina to have protested? In Katsina, do you know that even a very prominent district head, the Sarkin Fulani Ndengi, whose ancestors were instrumental to the dynasty of the present Katsina ruling house, was assassinated by the bandits? So why could the people not have protested to show their grievances? In Abuja, they protested because the security situation has broken down and people in government are not ready to mend it. The president of the country has been given advice, first by Nigerian citizens and even by the National Assembly, that the security architecture of Nigeria should be changed. The governor of Borno State was nearly assassinated last week by Boko Haram, yet government is adamant. And they are bringing these issues to the front burner just to gag people. I think the courts will still uphold the right of citizens to protest. These people have been arrested on Wednesday and yesterday, and I am sure they will be charged to court, and I believe and trust that the court will discharge them because they have not done anything wrong. What I want to ask the court and individuals approaching these courts for this kind of issues is for the government to pay compensation for illegal detention and other things like that. It's not enough to just release a person to go when his rights have been trampled upon by government.
Okay, all right. Staring me in the face now. This one last call before I bring the program to a close. We'll take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Tony Labi.
Good morning.
And good morning to your guest.
Yeah.
I'm Comrade Gabriel, the Texas man.
All right.
As I'm speaking to you like this, I'm over 60. What the funny thing is that my own mother is original Kano State indigent, and even at that time, those days, my senior brother was given to a madam who he can be able to read Quran as I'm speaking to you now. So what actually went wrong is only God that knows. Just as the speaker said, some people want to use this position to see that they encourage their family members, not the interest of Nigerians. So I think something is wrong that we're supposed to sit down together. We are calling on this, the imams, the pastors, and others, even the retired heads, let them come down because the security situation, for example, is very, very bad. And finally, sir, this hate speech bill, does it mean that the National Assembly have given approval to it? If they have given to approve, whom did they call to take their opinion? Thank you, sir.
Okay, Comrade Gabriel. All right, Barrister, you have that, and your last line on it today.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity. Nigeria is a great country. I will crave our people not to dance to the tune of the ruling elites. Most of those who are telling us or reminding us about our tribes and religion are only trying to divide us. We are a united people if we look at it clearly. We have our differences, but God means to unite us and for us to live together. Let us throw banters at one another, but let those banters be the ones we copy from our fathers and our forefathers. Let it not be that we are abusing each other or derogating somebody's tribe or religion. Then if those people come to us again in 2023, if we are alive, and they raise issues of religion or issues of tribe or issues of region, excluding Nigeria, let's vote for people whom we believe are qualified. Let's not dance to these people's tunes. Those clergy among the Muslims and the Christian clerics who are bent on dividing us, let's be clear in listening to their voices. Once their voices are divisive, let's understand that this call is not from God. I pray that God will bless Nigeria and all its people.
Thank you, Barrister Yakubu Ezbai, for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And that will just be about the size of the program Perspectives this morning. And we're looking at a hate speech bill. And, of course, what's coming out of it from 500,000 fine initially when it first started to 5 million now, and how that comes, to Nigeria. Barrister Yakubu Ezbai, put in his thoughts on the hate speech bill. We'll come back with Perspectives on Monday. I'd like to thank you, Murphy, for connecting us with the people this morning. Wisdom, thank you for putting us in the pictures. Have a wonderful weekend.
We'll be right back after this commercial
Assalamu alaikum Hajiya Amina.
Wa alaikum assalam Sharifa. Maraba sannu da zuwa, shigo.
Na gode, wallahi Hajiya da alamar kina cin lafiyayyen abinci.
Me kika gani?
Ke da ƴaƴanki sai ƙara ƙyalli kuke yi.
Kai Sharifa, kina da ban dariya. To amma ai tunda muka fara cin sabuwar pakitin Golden Mon na Wazobia ne.
Golden Mon a cikin pakitin Wazo?
Haka ne.